Welcome back, everybody. Like the title of the video says, we're going to talk about prepper fatigue, prepper burnout, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions. And as you guys can imagine, my thoughts and opinions are not very mainstream. Just not a mainstream dude, I guess. And I think it's important we talk about this from 100% nuance. I think we need to be 100% honest with what it is we're talking about because unfortunately, so many times I've watched these videos on prepper burnout and prepper fatigue from other influencers, and it's really just the solutions and the causes are really rudimentary in the aspect of people really truly believe that you know you're just covering the symptoms. If we just take care of the symptoms, we'll take care of the real problem, or the real issue, right? So a lot of people give advice like, oh, you just need to step away, you just need to relax, turn the TV off, turn the news off, just not think about things, spend time with your family. Like, and I'm not saying that those aren't bad suggestions. I think those are all great suggestions, but are you really addressing the root cause of what's causing this depression on you, or is it really treating the root cause of why you're feeling the way you're feeling? And I think that ultimately is the most important thing. And I think it's very clear at this point what the overarching theme is when it comes to prepper burnout, prepper fatigue. And yes, you can step away, you can take a break, you can do all these great flowery things, you can try to make prepping more fun, you can try to do all these things, but it's not taking care of the root cause of the issue. So in this video, we're going to talk about what I believe is 110% the root cause. And we're going to start this by watching some video clips from people that are influencers in the preparedness community that I really feel like hit home as to what it is I'm talking about. And I have linked their full videos in the description box below. I don't want anyone to think that I'm taking these clips out of context. These clips are coming directly from the context of prepper burnout, right? It's in the title of the video. So I think it's important that we take a look at this and we look at it from a nuanced perspective. While I agree that if you're having mental health problems or you're feeling depressed or sad or what have you, you should definitely seek help, any way you can. But ultimately, I think when we're talking about burning out from anything, I think it's important to understand what the causes of that burnout is and not just mask the symptoms with, activities that really don't do anything to help the root cause of the issue. I think with anything, you need to help the root cause of the issue. You know what I mean? If the bathtub is filling with water, you can take a cup and try to scoop out the water, or you can turn the faucet off, find the hole, plug the hole, whatever it needs to do. So it's good to find solutions to the actual issues, not just mask your symptoms with other activities. That's just me personally. But without further ado, let's take a look at these video clips.
Stick with the channels that talk it real. Don't you stay away from the doomer stuff for a while. I haven't been to doomer stuff in a long time now, and I feel so much better. You know what? There's no problem watching it. It gets you some things thinking. It gets you motivated, I'll tell you that. Motivated to get your prep. So maybe that's another thing. Take a break. If you're on the doomer porn thing a lot, take a break from it. Or if you're just plodding along, you're not really watching that stuff, and you're getting burnt out, maybe start watching a little bit of it. I'm not going to do it here on this channel, so you'll never see it from me. If I'm talking about things that are concerning me or that I'm worried about, it's real. And it's, it's not out of fear, it's just out of awareness. So, yeah, maybe a good dose of doomer porn will, doom and gloom and the world is ending. Maybe that will help you get motivated again. I don't know. I don't know you.
Because they might have just not been able to handle that pressure and they didn't know how to balance themselves, okay? So that's something that's very important. And you know what? Yeah, do I maybe ingest some entertainment revolving around the concept of survival or some kind of apocalyptic situation? Of course, because that's some of my favorite type of entertainment. But watching that doesn't make me feel like it's some kind of a, educational experience. It's more of just an enjoyment factor that's also related to something that I'm passionate about. So those are things to consider.
There's going to be a lot of changes happening very rapidly, and I think in 6 months we're going to see a huge 6 to 8 months we're going to start seeing a huge die-off, and it's going to be because of some of the things that's going on right now. I can't say what that is on YouTube. However, suffice it to say, it's going to be a huge die-off. I think in 6 to 8 months it's going to start, and they will blame it on something that isn't what actually caused it. And it's going to cause a lot of things that are going to be going on, and it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. So right now, having prepper burnout is definitely not a good thing, because you don't want to burn out and stop prepping, because you're going to need those preps, in my opinion, very, very soon, because it's about to hit the fan, guys. I think there's lots of people way smarter than I am that says that there's going to be a huge die-off in 6 to 8 months. And when a huge die-off, I'm talking half the population of the earth or more. It is a serious situation, guys. Some people might think I'm crazy. However, I've done a lot of research on this, and like I said, people way smarter than I am have been saying the same thing. So it's definitely not a good time to get prepper burnout.
Is prepper burnout real? A lot of influencers are talking about it, as you can see from those video clips. A lot of people are talking about it in the preparedness community, a lot of influencers. And it's obvious by the videos they have out that they're very concerned, and they don't want you to fall into the rut of prepper burnout, because the big one's coming, guys, right? And a lot of people, truly, a lot of influencers really do peddle this fear of some apocalyptic event happening very soon, right? And we can talk about a whole list of reasons why that is. I think that the only reason you have to start and stop on is monetary gain, but that's besides me. It's going around. A lot of people have noticed it in the community, that people are getting fatigued from prepping, right? And they are able to articulate this based upon people sending them messages, people emailing them, and I think a lot of it comes down to, and we're constantly seeing them talk about their own statistics, right? Sales in their t-shirt fucking stores down, viewership is down, subscribers are down, views are down, and a lot of them chalk this up to the algorithm hating them, and when they can't do that anymore, prepper fatigue, right? People just have to take a step away and just, relax and kind of go through a distancing, a cleansing period, because they're just overwhelmed with what's going to happen. I don't agree. Me personally, I do not believe that there is prepper burnout. I don't believe in this concept. I believe that there is fear porn burnout, there is conspiracy burnout, and I think that's what we're seeing a lot of. I think we're seeing a lot of people that are burning out from all the fear porn that they're indulging in and all the conspiracies they're indulging in. And if you're somebody who's an influencer who peddles this, you have to expect that people are acting and they're prepping not because they really feel like it's the betterment of their lives, but because they really truly fear some catastrophic incident that you keep perpetuating out there that is going to destroy mankind as they know it. So now you are taking people that are already scared and already confused, you're indulging them in tons of fear porn and getting them to prepare, which means, going to your affiliate links, buying your t-shirts, and viewing your content, stockpiling, hoarding a bunch of shit that they don't necessarily need. That's what I feel like we're getting at. And I'm going to make the argument to you today that it's not so much that people are fed up or tired of prepping, but the body can only handle so much conspiracy. The body can only handle so much fear porn before it starts to evolve and adapt to the situation it finds itself in. So let's get to it. When you're talking about preparedness, you really have to ask yourself a very fundamental question, okay? A very fundamental question. The most fundamental of questions. What's the goal, and what are you choosing to accomplish? And the reason why this is so important, and if you don't want to burn out, right? The reason why this is so important is because you really have to ask yourself, what's the plan, right? Because if all you're doing is going on social media, YouTube, articles, whatever it is that you're looking at, and all you're seeing is vast amounts of fear, porn, conspiracy, and things that are troubling to you, and you go out to the store and you just buy tons of food, what is the goal with that food? What are you trying to accomplish, right? Are you trying to set up some kind of safety net when it comes to food preparedness? Great. And if you are, what's the goal? What are you trying to do? And a lot of people don't really have an answer. They may say, well, I want food storage for X amount of days. Okay, what does that look like? What kind of meals are you trying to make? What kind of things are you trying to accomplish? And a lot of times what we're seeing is people don't really know what they're trying to accomplish. They just know that the fear, porn, and conspiracies that they're seeing make them scared. So they make a purchase, and since that purchase they feel gives them a little bit of control, it's a perpetual cycle and they keep doing it. That's what we're finding in this community. Is people are making decisions based upon not facts and real guidance, but because of different fears, right? And so if you don't have a goal in place and you're just kind of going with the wind, yeah, I can see that you're going to burn out very quickly from whatever activity you're doing. I don't care if it's prepping. I don't care if it's exercise. I don't care what it is. You know, if you are exercising because you truly feel like you're on the precipice of death, right? If you truly feel like, well, I got to exercise now because if not, I'm going to die. And you're exercising, and that is, you don't know the rhyme. There's no rhyme or reason for what you're exercising or what your goal is. You just know, I need to exercise or else, right? Let's say you have a weight issue, or let's say there's some health element. Yeah, I'm not saying exercise is great, but if you're just motivated, the goal is just, I need to exercise just because I'm scared of this element killing me. Yeah, you may exercise for a little bit, but eventually you're going to ask yourself, well, what's the goal? You know, I did weightlifting this day. I ran a bunch this day. I did a ton of yoga this day. I got on the bike and did this. And then I saw this thing on YouTube. So I tried this workout, and then I saw this diet. So I did this diet with this exercise, and you're just kind of sporadically all over the place. You're going to burn out from working out pretty quickly. It's not a game winning, it's not a game winning paradigm there. So I really ask you guys to take a step back, figure out what your goals are. What are your goals, right? What are you actually trying to accomplish? And then set a plan for accomplishing that goal. Let's talk about the next thing. So here's another really important question to ask you. Is the collapse chasing you, or are you chasing the collapse? Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but I think it's clear that just like the news cycle, right? You'll see an incident that happens, and then you see all these different news agencies commenting and doing having their own predisposition on that event. And you always see the news cycle chasing catastrophes, right? That's what you see. And rightfully so, because they're news agencies, and that's what news agencies do, right? They chase the current events of the day, and they put their spin on it, more or less. Preparedness didn't always used to be that way. Preparedness used to be about, no joke, preparedness. Now what we're seeing in the preparedness cycle is it's very much a news cycle, right? You see all these intelling reports from these different, influencers, and you see that they're constantly chasing a news cycle, and they're constantly chasing catastrophes, and it's this big circle around, right? I mean, just look at it from, I've been watching YouTube preparedness for years, over a decade at this point. And it's funny because when you start and when you look at it from where we've come, just look at the last 2 years, right? You see pandemic, coronavirus, and then you see all these issues where we're talking about gun control, and then they're talking about the rumors of wars, right? And then we go back to food preparedness, and then they start talking about different pestilence, right? We talked about the whole grasshopper thing, right? And then we go back to talking about all the pigs that the Chinese had to cull because of different swine flu issues. And we see this, it's on a loop, right? And now we're back to talking about gun control for a little bit, and then now with whole Russia versus Crimea, you see all these influencers talking about that. and they're talking about being on the precipice of war with that, and then we're continuously seeing this cycle continuously go. So in essence, you see people that are watching and inundating themselves with all this fear porn that are put out by these influencers, and you see that it's like, okay, we're talking about war, so food support, food storage, firearms, iodine tablets, go. And then you start talking about, then the news cycle goes off on something different where we're talking about, let's just say, different kinds of pestilence and stuff like that. Then it goes heavy on water storage, also a little bit heavier on food stuff, and then you just constantly see the cycle, and then they start talking about government red tape and bureaucracy. Then it's all about security and all about firearms and bullets and stuff, and the whole context is always wrapped around this idea of stockpiling and hoarding, right? So very rarely do I see people able to accomplish the aforementioned when it comes to having a goal, because the news cycle is always pushing the goal, right? And then every once in a while you'll get thrown a curveball, like with what happened in Texas and infrastructure, and now everybody's talking about cold weather gear, everybody's talking about renewable energy, battery storage, all this stuff. And so you're constantly never able to focus on a goal, because let's say you just want to focus on infrastructure. Well, you can't, because you can't focus on infrastructure right now because there may not be any food tomorrow. So you got to focus on that. And then while you're here, you got to go back and focus on security because you may not be able to buy, guns, ammo, all that stuff. So now everybody's moving, and so you're never able to actually focus if you're just listening to what influencers are saying. They're always constantly pushing and pulling you in different directions where, yeah, I get it. It's kind of hard to prepare efficiently and be prepared efficiently when all this fear porn is drawing you in all these different areas, and you're just, not able to focus on any one thing with any degree of satisfaction. So what you're left doing is buying a bucket of food here, buying a box of ammo here, buying a portable solar panel here for your cell phone, and you're just kind of being pulled and prodded in every which direction. But hey, don't forget, you better go subscribe to those channels and watch their reviews and buy their t-shirts, because if not, I could get taken off YouTube tomorrow because the algorithm hates me, right? And so it's constantly all these influencers chasing the collapse instead of being prepared for what actually may happen with the collapse. And so, I see that happening, which, yes, I can see how that system of preparedness would cause you to not want you to prepare very long. Trust me, I get it, and I have a lot of sympathy for people that are constantly being fueled by this fear porn. And it's kind of sad that influencers have no problem perpetuating this cycle just for a click, a like, or some t-shirt or viewership revenue. But I digress. Let's keep going. So, for those of you that prepare, I encourage you to ask yourself this one question. And I like to have these types of conversations because I don't want to be preachy, but I really want you to understand what it is that's going to help you the most, right? Because it's going to be different for everybody. I know I prepare differently than 99% of most people that prepare, and I get that. And I know that more and more of you are starting to prepare the same way I do, and I think that's great because I'm starting to notice that, there's people that are getting a lot more efficiency and really happiness. You know what I mean? Like the overall joy and happiness of people that prepare through a producer lens is, they're truly satisfied. And so, I'm very thankful for that. And a lot of that comes down to this one question. This is one question that I have definitely asked myself. And I encourage anybody to really ask yourself this one question and figure out, what it is for you. And that question is, if you could be 100% guaranteed that a collapse would never happen, would your prepping habits change? So if you knew there was going to be no world without rule of law, no shit hits the fan, no Tiawaki, if you were 100% guaranteed that there would not be any collapse of any kind, would your prepping habits change? For me, they wouldn't. This is the lifestyle I want to live for the rest of my life. And I hope nothing bad happens. I pray to God there's no collapse. I'm preparing like there's not going to be a collapse because I don't live life in fear. I enjoy producing my own food, and I can give you 1,000 different reasons why I enjoy producing it here on the homestead. I can give you 1,000 different reasons why I like to have infrastructure for power generation, why I like to have infrastructure for any of the things that I have infrastructure for. I love it. I love it. And if I was guaranteed that nothing would change, my life would stay absolutely the same. Absolutely the same. But can you say the same thing? If you knew there was going to be absolutely no food collapse, would you really be stacking and hoarding and stockpiling more food than you know what to do with? Would you be really going out and spending money chasing all these trinkets and, Sawyer straws and life straw filters? Would you really be chasing all those things? I'm not saying it's bad to have those things. I'm not saying that at all. I have a Sawyer straw filter, and I think it's great, especially when I'm going camping, or better yet, if I go on vacation, I take one of those because you can attach it to a water bottle, So if let's say I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland, yeah, I can fill up straight from the municipal water supply and not think twice, and I can save a bunch of money doing it, right? There are great attributes for a lot of this gear, but the question is, would you be stockpiling and hoarding so much of it? Would your preparedness habits change at all if you knew and were guaranteed nothing bad will happen? If the answer is yes, well, chances are it's probably because you are preparing out of fear. Preparing based upon conspiracies. Need I say more? Let's talk about the next item. If your motivation was different, would your lines of effort be more sustainable? Motivation is a very important factor, right? Because if you're motivated by fear, if you're motivated by conspiracy, the body can only handle so much of it before it adapts. You see a lot of this. Let me give you from my background experience, being in the military, having first responder experience as well in the civilian sector, executive protection, law enforcement, that kind of thing. I can tell you that you see people, right, and you interact with people, and based upon their life experience, based upon their training, you can see people that can keep very calm in chaos, right? And that's because it's been trained into them. Right? It's something that they have worked towards, and it's something they have trained. Somebody that has who's been, and seen many car accidents or has been put in many high stressful situations, they're going to react differently, right? Take the police officer that goes to a domestic call where there's active engagement in a physical manner, right? There's fighting, there's weapons involved. Taking a brand new officer to a situation like that, they're going to be heightened. The heart rate's going to be going. It's going to be something new, and they're going to have that, they're going to have that rush of adrenaline. I'm not saying that a senior officer or somebody who's experienced a lot isn't going to have that, but you can see that the demeanor and how their body processes that's going to be different. That's because the body has learned, the body has reacted, the body can handle that stress better if they have experienced it and they've trained that into their training program to understand what it is that they need to do. Okay, that's because the body has adapted to certain stressful stimuli. It's kind of like with a race car driver. There's a lot of different occupations where, what is very uncommon for most people is a situation that they do well in. When I was in the military, when I was doing search and rescue, you have the mantra, so others may live. Another quote that you hear a lot in those communities is, for some, the sky's the limit. For others of us, we simply call home. And that quote just simply means, for some, the sky's the limit. For some, reaching to the sky and being a part of this level of action or this level of excitement as life is what they aspire to do. And there's others of us who operate in that daily, right? And so, it's like what you see with children in war-torn countries. You see things where their body just adapts to the situation that's around them, that just adapts and gets used to it, right? So when you're constantly engaging yourself in fear porn and constantly engaging yourself in conspiracy, the body can only handle so much of it before it just says, you know what, if this is the new normal, it's the new normal, right? And you just it's almost like you give up, right? Do those children necessarily want to give up that are in those war-torn countries? No, but their body just puts up that defense barrier, that mechanism to really save their humanity, right? And like everything else in life, your body can only handle so much before it's just finally just, you know, you can't fear porn and motivate yourself through fear porn and conspiracy through success. It's just not going to happen that way. So, you know, I think a lot of it, you must truly understand, where does your motivation lie? It's like what I talked about earlier with, you know, with working out. I think that's a great parallel, right? Because we see, you know, at the end of every year, everybody has their, you know, their goals, right? Their New Year's resolutions. And you see people that their goal, I just want to get in better shape, right? I just got to get in better shape. They have no plan, no real motivation, no goals that they wish to accomplish, nothing. They start working out, they get sidetracked, and they just, this is tired, this hurts, you know, this, that, and the other, and they don't accomplish anything. You see other people that just go too hard in the paint, right? I know there's people that when they go work out, they give it their all, they, head straight into the wall, and they get tired, and their body's so broken down that they just can't work out for the next few days. And next thing you know it, they're off their workout routine. So if you really feel like I need to work out or else I'm going to die, okay, I implore you, do what you have to do. But I would set forth goals, and I would set forth efficient plans of approach to where you can get and have those lines of effort be more sustainable. So you need to work out, and you haven't worked out, and let's just say you have really bad health and you need to work out. Okay, so instead of trying to jump on a treadmill and run yourself into the ground, maybe just do a steady walk. How long can you do a steady walk before it starts to hurt? Okay, your first day, maybe that's all you need to do. Steady walk until it hurts a little bit. Okay, get off the treadmill, rest, recoup, eat good, drink lots of water. We're going to come back the next day, and we're going to keep doing that, right? And then you're going to start to build more into your plan, into your system, right? That is a way better approach because you have accomplishments that you're going to have, you have goals to accomplish. You have accomplishments that are going to have real impact on your motivation to want to keep going. That is the best way to go about it versus I'm just working out because I'm going to die and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to do something. That's the same attribute of people that have all this fear porn. It's like, well, one day we're talking about, COVID-19. Next day we're talking about, government overreach with firearms. And the next day we're just talking about this food collapse. So I just got to buy ammunition here. I got to buy hand sanitizer here. And I got to buy buckets of food over here. And I really have no goals that I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just chasing the next conspiracy. And that's where I feel like a lot of people go wrong. Now let's talk about the real nitty-gritty that I feel like most people don't like to talk about, but I think it's important that we bring up. Is prepping a thankless chore, or is it inspiring and purpose-filled, right? And I think a lot of this will kind of go down to my last point, but I think a lot of this is really talking about and really asking yourself, are you just doing this because you feel like, for example, are you prepping because you have an obligation to your family and you're just doing it because you don't want them to die, or something along those lines? Is it something that you do that you don't enjoy doing, but you just do it because you have to? It's for a lot of people, that's their work, right? They don't particularly enjoy their work, but they got to put food on the table, so they go out and they work, right? It's not something they like to do, it's something they have to do. Or do you feel like prepping is inspiring to you? Are you inspired by your work? Do you enjoy your work? Do you enjoy preparedness? And you really have to ask yourself, if it is a thankless chore, why is that? Is it because of all the other underlying things that we've been talking about? Chasing the conspiracy, really feeling like this is the only way that you have a resemblance of control in your life? Is that really why it's thankless? Because you just feel like it's something that has to be done, because I feel like all these catastrophes we're on the precipice of, and I just have to do it in order to have some kind of control over what may happen. That very well could be it. Or is it something that's inspirational? Do you really feel like you have something that is purpose-filled in your life? That's another question to ask, because I feel like once you start asking these questions, you'll get down to really the root of why it is you feel the way you do. Let's talk about my last point. are you a one-man show? Now, I've noticed some parallels, okay? And I've noticed that, unfortunately, it seems that when we're talking about prepper burnout, we're really talking about people that are preparing for their families, or they're preparing for themselves, and they're a one-man show, right? They don't have their spouses aren't on board, their children aren't on board, their friends aren't on board, their friends don't even know because of how their spouses and their children treat them. And so what happens is they are motivated by fear from the conspiracies that they see online. Their family can't relate to them because their family thinks they're crazy. And now they are constantly on this fear porn news loop cycle that is perpetuated by social media influencers online. And the only place they can find people that understand them are all these small circles here on YouTube. And if you don't believe me, look in the comment section below of any mainstream prepper channel. And that 100% brings 100% credibility to that statement that I just mentioned to you. And anybody that would say otherwise is obviously blind. Hey man, it's the truth. The comment section in those influencers channels, I mean, it speaks truth to what I'm telling you. And it's sad because, you know, you do have these people that are one-man shows and they feel like prepping is a thankless chore and it's not inspiring. It's not filled with purpose. Yeah, and I really encourage you guys and implore you guys, if you really want to help yourself out here, you got to let go of the fear porn. You got to let go of the conspiracies. And it's okay to make goals, and it's okay to accomplish those goals one at a time, you know? And it's okay to not chase the conspiracies. It's okay just to work on preparedness in one aspect, you know? It's kind of like the working out analogy I gave earlier that I think is super important. If you really feel like you're on the precipice of some kind of bad event happening, if you don't start working out, I implore you not to go to the gym and run yourself into the ground. Maybe a goal is I want to be able to walk 3 miles without hurting myself. Okay, get on the treadmill. That may mean that you can only walk on the treadmill for 0.2 miles before it hurts and you just can't do it anymore. Great. You did what you can, you know, do some stretching, go home, eat healthy, drink some water. And the very next day, try to do 0.3 miles. But if you can't, you can only do 0.2 miles, and it takes you a week before you can hit 0.3 miles. It takes you a month before you can hit half a mile, and it takes you a year before you hit 3 miles and you can walk that. That's fine, because at least you have a goal, and you have a goal in mind, and you have miniature accomplishments along the way until you get to where you need to get to. But so many times, it's just, I need to work out or something bad's going to happen. So you hit the treadmill super hard and you hurt your body, and and you just give up there. Or, you're like, I don't want to be on the treadmill anymore. I'm going to weight train. And so you're just all over the place. You're not actually helping your body in any, there's no real goals. There's nothing accomplishing. You're not really even helping your body. You keep hurting your body because you keep switching out to all these things. And that's what preparedness has come to for a lot of people. You're a one-man show and you're on this perpetual fear porn conspiracy loop on the internet, and the only place you find people that understand you is on the internet, and they push you just to, security this week, and then next thing you know, oh, we got to get hand sanitizer, oh, food, buy more Life Straws, and you're just constantly getting thrown around, and you're not accomplishing anything. And yeah, I can see how you get fatigued. I can see how you don't want to prep anymore. I get it. If I was in that same boat, I'd be the same way, but I'm not. And the reason why I'm not is because I prep as if I prep, and my whole mantra is, if nothing bad happens, I'm going to continue the status quo, because my preparedness level has nothing to do with the outside world. It doesn't. Why I prepare has nothing to do with, these conspiracies or fear porn of what is. If you would guarantee me 100% nothing bad would happen, my lifestyle wouldn't change. And neither should yours. You shouldn't have a lifestyle that's perpetuated around things that people on YouTube say. It shouldn't. Your life should be inspiring. It should be purpose-filled, and it should be something that you should be and you should wish to share with the world. So there is hope. Let go of all that negativity and live a purpose-filled life. That's all I have for you guys. I truly care about you guys out there. It truly pains me to see people that are scared, that are worried, that are concerned. You know, it doesn't have to be that way, guys. You guys are amazing, awesome people, and you guys can do this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you think I got this completely wrong, leave them in the comment section below. I look forward to interacting with you guys in the comment section below. As always, guys, long live the Republic. Long live the Republic. Long live the Republic.